As we move into our next 50, into that point of 50, 60, 70, what's happening for you? What's top of mind? I've been asking a lot of people that question over the last number of weeks and doing some of my own research. And I wanted to share with you today that there is a common theme around what would be called personal growth, self-improvement, lifelong learning, and experiencing life fully. And I went, these are like three things chasing each other. That's my best description. If you influence one and you do something to support it, then it influences the other, that influences the other, and they keep sort of spinning around. I sort of think of the dog chasing its tail. And I wanted to share with you some ideas around that because it's something that came to me about a couple of years ago where I really dug in and said, I want to make a contribution. I want to really leverage my legacy. And I decided that I was going to really pay a lot more attention to creating content and using different media platforms to sort of find ways in which to share with you ideas that you could then share back so that I could continue to learn. And that's why this theme here about personal growth and learning and experiences is so important. And what I did was I decided that I was going to come upstairs because my office is downstairs, and I'm going to come up into the kitchen living room area of the house and sort of share some thoughts from this perspective. So I'm actually leaning here on the kitchen counter and looking at the cupboards, and I have the phone hooked up into the door handles because this environment here is a way in which I experience life because I enjoy cooking. So do you enjoy something in your house, a particular place where you could say, this is where I really live life fully? So here in the kitchen, I get to experiment with lots of different food types, different kind of cooking arrangements. I could probably do more because years ago I used to do some really wonderful cooking and baking. I don't do so much of it from that really fanciful way anymore. I do it more in terms of just enjoying myself and playing around with ideas. But it was a way for me to remind myself about experiencing life fully. And I've had the pleasure of living and working around the world. I've touched 6 of 7 continents, done lots of different kinds of work. The only continent I haven't been to is Antarctica. And I have a thought about how I might be able to do that. I'll have to see if that actually comes about. If not, that's okay. But to experience, right? To create an experience, to experience it, to have the experience. That's something that's always been woven into the fabric of my life for years and years and years. And I'm going to encourage you to think about how might you create an experience, think it through, what it is you'd like to do, then experience it, and then what did you get from the experience? Because what that'll do is it will help you to stimulate this personal growth and self-improvement by setting up the experience and experiencing. But the learning that you take from the experience will be wonderful as well. So let me just unpack that out just a little bit more. Personal growth. As we get older, I think it's something that if we really embrace it and bring it into the foreground for us, it is a way to experience life fully. But more so, it gives us an inkling about who we are and what it is that we're asking for. What is it that we value and what is it we want to share? and share through something like legacy, that gift that you're giving others so that they can learn something from you, learn from those experiences you've had, help them create experiences which helps you. Again, that's that dog chasing its tail metaphor that I mentioned earlier. But the self-improvement that goes with that, I spent a number of years just investigating what it means to be fully human, to be natural. And what it did was it gave me an opportunity to think about ways to improve focus and strengthen who I am as Stephen and how I show up. And granted, I learned quite a bit. There's another video on the channel where I figured out that I'm a procrastinator, a confuser, and a backstager. I'll leave you to find that. I'll put a link down in the description if you want to go there. And that improvement has really forged a path forward where I'm actually shooting videos like this now and going, I just want to present who I am, share some of the stories, what it is that I love to experience, invite you to create those kind of experiences for yourself. If we can find a way to dance together, that's great, because that will help us with our learning. So this personal growth, this self-improvement because of experiencing life fully. Well, I would add into that the importance of reflection in and reflection on. Reflection in is while you're in it, there may be a bit of a reflective time. You're looking at what's actually happening and figuring out how might I shift things as I'm in it. And then there are times when you're reflecting on, where it might be looking at it a little bit from a distance, or afterwards, what happened, and figuring out what can I pull from that. These are just elements of reflection, to become a reflective practitioner, to use reflective action learning. These are terms you can look up if you want, but it's ways in which to deepen and enrich, and in some ways find simpler, better, wiser kind of ways in which to walk for yourself and with others. So this experiencing life fully, sort of without the landscape and bringing it into yourself, this notion of personal growth and self-improvement within, without, these are elements of life that are best expressed as within, without, between, together, beyond. And this is a simple way in which to just look at what's happening in your life, and therefore this between, together, beyond is this lifelong learning, this continuous learning and educating. They sort of separate those terms out. In terms of learning is who's influencing you, educating you influence who, and being able to find the dynamic balance of those. Because with that lifelong learning, that lifelong educating, it goes with this phrase: when you listen, you learn; where you share, you educate. Oh, did I really learn that because of all the different places and the kinds of work that I have done. I would call myself experience rich. I wouldn't necessarily say that I am wealthy with an A. I am wealthy with two L's, WELLTH. And that's okay. It's because I just so enjoy finding and getting involved with experiences, and I'm going to continue to do that even as I am in my 70s and 80s. I have in the vision ahead is writing children's books with a character of a shape-shifting tree who meets different characters to bring to the foreground for youth and adults ideas like commitment and courage, and how do they weave together? So I'm going to see what happens as I move forward. So I'm going to do my best to leverage or leverage this sense of experiencing life fully. I'm going to ask you, how are you going to do that? I would take out a notepad, a journal, pen, paper, whatever it might be, sticky notes, and just start jotting down some ideas about how do you want to experience life fully, being you, being fully human, being natural. What are the ways that you want to have that happen? And then think about what would that mean from a personal growth and self-improvement point of view? What's one thing about who you are that you would like to improve? Remember I mentioned earlier the procrastinator? Well, I'm digging in now and saying, I'm not going to procrastinate on shooting videos. I'm just going to share stories that I hope will stimulate, to encourage you to get involved in living your legacy life, because this legacy life is such a beautiful way in which to bring forth a day, to think about what you're going to do for the week, what is possible for the month. Every day when I get up and I go for my 6:15 or so walk with Georgia, who just happened to walk into the kitchen down here, we go out and we explore what's possible in the darkness. And I've actually interacted with a couple of deer now, and there was a coyote there at one point in time that sort of whooshed by. But there's been some deer that I found just coming around the corner. They have been habituated a little bit more than I think they need to be. And, well, we've had some surprises, but that's okay. That's just me enjoying life as it unfolds. But this idea here of really embracing what it is that presents itself that day, that presenting it through this legacy lens that's available to you. I would encourage you to watch other videos that are here on the channel. There is a course in the making, and I will be setting up an invitation, so pay attention for that. Maybe you'd like to get involved. It's a way to bring together all the learnings that I have brought forth because of all the different experiences, and how might I use it to frame up the creation of legacy projects, stories, and contributions. So with that, today I just wanted to highlight personal growth, self-improvement, continuous or lifelong learning, and experiencing life fully, really getting in there and doing that, and giving you a couple of tips. But down below in the description, I'll just add a few more as well. But please comment. I so enjoy the comments, and we can learn together ways in which to bring these topics to the foreground. So, after 50, 60, 70, 80, let's have some fun together and see what we can do to create some kind of community and to be able to help each other to live legacy life. Take care.